let's see how to use Jupyter notebooks from within Visual Studio Code. First, we're going to install Python, which I'm going to download from python.org. And when I hover over Downloads, here we can download for Windows, and the latest version at the time of this recording is 3.10.7. And the Python installer was downloaded. Let's install it. And make sure that you add Python to the system's path by checking the second box over here. And let's install. Great, so Python is installed. Let's now install Visual Studio Code, which I'm going to download from code.visualstudio.com. And of course, I'm going to download for Windows. And the Visual Studio Code installer was downloaded. Let's install Visual Studio Code. Great, and Visual Studio Code was installed. Let's launch it. And now let's open the Extensions tab. And I'm going to look for Python. And the extension we want is the first one by Microsoft, this one. So let's go ahead and install it. And the installation of this extension will take about a minute or two. Great, and the extension was installed. Let's now close Visual Studio Code. And I'm going to create a new folder on my computer that is going to serve as a Python workspace. And I'll just call it Python Workspace. And let's now reopen Visual Studio Code. And let's now open our new workspace folder. So File and Open Folder. Let's now open the command palette by pressing Ctrl-Shift-P, or we can just choose the View menu and then Command Palette. And here I'm going to look for Notebook. And the first option is to create a new Jupyter notebook. That's what we want, so let's hit Enter. And the new Jupyter notebook was created. Let's save it by Ctrl-S. And let's just call it Example Notebook. And here we can see it on the left on the Visual Studio Code Explorer. Let's write a simple Hello World line in the code block. And let's also add a markdown block. And of course I can reorder the blocks by just dragging them around. So let's, for example, move the markdown to the top of the page. But if I now try to run the code block, I get this error. Running cells with Python requires Notebook and Jupyter package. Luckily, all we have to do to fix it is click on Install. And the block ran successfully, and we got the output as expected.